Hey there, everybody. I am Debbie Crowley from ExpressivelyDeb.com, and welcome. Today, I'm showcasing the Hooray For Surprises Bundle. And these are 3 cards that I've already made with the bundle. But first, we'll go through the actual bundle. So, it's photopolymer stamp set. And there's a mixed font, sentiments. The sentiments are clean and simple. I really do like them. So you have a couple of images here that would go with the sentiments, and it is a generic stamp set. Great for birthdays. If you have some birthdays that you have to get out or get done, it's a good birthday stamp set. So the dies, the Hooray for Surprises dies, you have the die that will die cut the flower. There's another flower in here and a little smaller flower. The cake die, a leaf filler stamp, filler die, another leaf filler die, and then you have a heart. And this heart does little holes in it. As you can see, I use that in this card. So with all of that, we're going to go ahead. There is a surprise, and that's hence the name Hooray for Surprises, I suppose, because in the what you have in the stamp set is you have the dies that have this little tab on them. If you can see it, this little tab here, it's on the heart die. And there's a larger circle that we're using today, I have pulled out, that has the little tab on it. And then in your stamps, you have a small, very small stamp that says pull, and then there's another one that says open here. So what these dies do is actually cut with perforation. So the outlines of the dies are perforated so that if you, well, we'll do the birthday first, the birthday cake. So see, I stamped the word pull here. So if you go ahead and pull up, I've already done it, but you have to go slowly, and you can see the little perforated cuts here. And then inside is your surprise. So you have another sentiment, and you can stamp images, the small flower image. In here I did the small flower image, the sentiment, and I put a couple of dots there. So they see, your recipient will see the birthday cake, and then I put this up on foam squares. This was actually the first card I did, and I wanted to give it some dimension. Not foam squares, I'm sorry, foam strips. And it's a really cute little idea. The other card we have is the heart card, and I did this a little bit different. This one, as you see, has the dimension on it. This one is flat. I decided to stay flat with this one. And then you pull open, and then the heart would come up like this, and there is your sentiment on the inside. And what I did was I stamped the sentiment. There's 2 layers of designer series paper here, and I stamped the sentiment directly onto the designer series paper. So that's that one. And then this one, this is the card design that we're going to do today. This one, you can see I pull up the heart. I stamp this heart with the stamp from one of the stamps from this stamp set. And then when you pull this up, I put a piece of tape in it to hold it down. But there is your sentiment. So there's your little Hooray for Surprises. So when you pull up your heart and you see your sentiment, you hooray. I like that. Did you like that? I thought that was cute. Okay, I will show you how to construct the card. These are all the parts and pieces. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, you're going to have a PDF tutorial, which is attached in the description box below this video. And any questions, comments, anything you need to know, anything you want clarity on, feel free to send me an email and I will respond. So we start off here. There's a lot of little parts and pieces here, but we're going to make this as quick and easy as possible. So you start off, I started off with a pool party card base. and it is 5.5 across, 8.5 inches in length. I scored it at 4.25 inches. And then we have the, I did a matte layer on this. I did the thinner matte layer. You don't have to. You can omit this layer in the cutting instructions that you'll see in the PDF, and just go ahead and use the designer series paper. It doesn't really make a difference on this layer. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and attach the layer to the card base, the card, attach the designer series paper to the matte layer. It's sunny and happy, like the title says. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, and then we are going to work on the inside. I'm sorry, the panel that's on the outside. The little, I'm going to call it the surprise panel. This portion of the card. So what I did, I have the pool party cardstock. Go ahead and just put this designer series paper onto the cardstock layer. It's going to bring it to me so I get this straight here. Okay, so that's attached. Now, this layer is very important. This is the layer that you're going to stamp the inside message on. This, you see here? So that it is very important that that layer be in proportion, or I find if it's in proportion to this front panel, cut in, in proportion to it, it's easier to center. So, and that's what I found. If you get this down pat, you can make a ton of these surprise cards and sail right through them. So this, if you turn this layer around, this piece, the white piece that I have here, is going to get centered onto this cardstock layer. See? So that's the back of this. So this is going to get adhered in just a minute once we stamp this. But the reason I am stressing center is because when we die, we're going to place the die cut here. So when we die cut our little circle, when it lifts, we want that sentiment that we're going to stamp on this white piece that's on the back in the center. Because we don't want to get surprised and find that the sentiment is not centered or is off to the side where you can't see everything. So it's very important, I found as I was constructing the other three cards and making the sample, that this be a piece that is centered. Now, for this design, you can also use, for the heart, you can use a circle. It doesn't necessarily have to be a square or a rectangle. You can use one of the circles and create a circle layer the way I did the rectangle here. It's up to you, but there's a lot of ways that you can do this. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this, and I am using the stamp positioning tool for this. So I'm going to put it up here in the corner, and stamping it with black memento ink. I know why that's happening. It's because of the magnet. There we go. Okay. So now the sentiment is in the center. And what we're going to do is put this, we're going to die cut. First, we're going to die cut this circle. So this circle we want to be, now this is going to be our little tab. So I'm putting it kind of up a little bit. This has got to be centered, well centered. Now we're not looking at the space from the tab to the edge. We're looking here below the tab, which is about the same distance on either side of the circle. And the circle is pretty much centered in this way. So let's just get the Post-it notes because I do not want this to move. And I'm going to die cut it. Take off my Post-it notes. And you're going to see how, now you're going to be able to see how quickly this is going to come together. So here's the circle. So this sentiment is going to be centered on the back. Remember I said center it on the back. So if this is centered on the back of this, and I centered my die on the front of this, we should be good to go. But what I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use liquid glue. I was going to use the tear and tape, but I'm going to use it someplace else. So we're putting the adhesive on the front of this, on the sentiment side. As close to the edge as possible. I went up a little bit there, but should be okay. Okay, and now what we're going to do is face down on this panel. We're going to center it. Okay. So the tab is going to be on this side because, let me see if I can get this off. Hold on one sec. I can. Because I want the tab on the other side. Hang on. So we're going to center this way. Okay. So now this is centered. The sentiment, if you can see it there, is centered in this circle because this white layer is centered on the panel and we stamp the sentiment in the center of the white layer. Center, center. Okay, and this is the die cut. Okay, so now we can put this onto the card front. This is going to get centered right on the front of the card. Top layer. Okay, so you see how sentiment's inside, and it's going to be a surprise. And then this goes on the front of the card. So there we go. So the card is pretty much constructed. The only other thing we're going to do here is decorate it. And what I'm going to do, I got a little fancy on this one. So I'm just going to glue a couple of elements. These elements were stamped. This is Petal Pink. And this is the flower from the stamp set and the die cut from the stamp set. So I did Petal Pink. I mimicked the colors in the designer series paper, which I generally do. I love this color combination, by the way. And then this. Now, when I do something like this, I usually put the glue right in the center of the element, only because I'm going to do some tucking and that kind of thing. So I'm going to come down a little bit with this. And over. Okay, one thing I want you to be aware of on this is this portion, because when you lift the tab, when we lift the tab of the surprise, this portion is going to bend. So if the top won't bend, the bottom won't bend, but this side will bend. So if you, because you're going to tend to move it that way to the left, lift it and move it to the left. So try to keep this a little clear with if you're putting any elements on it. Okay, and then these are also die cuts that were in the dies on this set. So I'm going to tuck this one under. And that's basic black. I hesitated a little bit to do basic black leaves, or these little, but they're filler pieces and any color really works, right? And then I'll tuck one here. And I have this one, which is kind of cute. This is the way the die comes. I cut this apart. So I think I'm going to put this inside here. And then I have this little sentiment layer, which is for you, which I'll put, I guess we'll put it right there. It'll be good there. A little glue. Should be using my tweezers. Okay, we'll bring this out just a little bit. A little flower that I die cut from the dies, and I die cut it with basic white, and I used my Daffodil Delight blend and just stamped a little dot in the center to kind of mimic the flowers in the designer series paper. And then we'll bring this one, I die cut a few of them, over here. Don't go away. We're going to lift the surprise to see how we did. But it should work. Okay, so I'm putting a little line. I did another card using the same pattern. It's on my blog, but I didn't use the black, and I do like the way the black shows up here. So that's it. So are you ready? Are you ready to pull the tab? We're going to pull the tab and see how it goes. So we're going to lift it here, and we're going to carefully, remember I put the glue only on the center, but carefully lift, break open those perforations. And there is, it's centered. You see? So there's my little surprise. Now I have to get this back. And you can stamp. You can use the little stamp. I'm not going to take the time to do that now. But there's a little floral stamp in here, and just stamp a flower. Or you don't have to make it a full card base. You can also use just a single 5.5 across, 4 1/4 inches in length, and just make it one card base and do your writing to, from, or love you, or whatever, and that's it. But it works. So always remember, it's this center the paper on the back, stamp, put your paper on, make sure it's centered. Whether you're doing a circle outline, whether it's an oval, whether it's a square, no matter what it is, on your card front, you want to make sure that on this panel, your layer that goes on the back is centered on the back, and then center your stamp set. I'm sorry, your stamped image. And if you do that, we'll kind of stick that back in. And if you do that, you should get a centered stamp and a nice little surprise for whoever lifts the tab. I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, there'll be the PDF tutorial will be on my blog. I just want to get this back in space now. And thank you for stopping by.